Hey, this is an interesting matchup.
Match number 4 for the day. 4 for the day, but only 3 for us because we missed round 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to go make a small adjustments to James's camera position because Trey. We had to adjust it for Trey because Trey's a giant.
He's a giant.
Trey is a massive human. So give me a few seconds and I'll be right back.
Both players are set up, ready to go, waiting for time to be called. Wes is going to go make a adjustment to that camera. There we go. That looks a lot better. Perfect.
Much better.
Looks good.
Much better. All right. And I think I heard Jason rounding up, so I think we're going to be on our way here in just a moment.
Looks like players have already rolled off. James, the Vader player, starting with the initiative.
Vader starting with the initiative there, yep. All right, there we go.
There we go. And
time begins in round 4. Hey, it's Piet. He's in the wrong arena.
Technically they get to decide.
That's true, but it's literally labeled on the map.
I forget that Matt has a
See, it's literally, it literally says ground.
There we go.
All right, there we go. And, of course, Chirrut coming in with an A-Wing.
And as the Chirrut player, that's what you want to see.
A-Wings are so ridiculous.
It's a crazy card.
Like, that's arguably one of the best commons in the whole bloody set, right?
It's
so
pretty
amazing.
wild. It's pretty wild. All right, and that's it for both players. James retaining initiative going into the second turn. And he's got the perfect line. He's got the Fleet Lieutenant, Super Laser Technician.
Love that play. Vader needs a little bit of ramp to help speed him up just a hair. Pairing him with green is a good play.
Oh, opting for Yoda over the Fleet Lieutenant.
Yoda.
I guess you see that he has no way to deal. That the Vader player has no way to deal with Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
Yoda's just got a lot of value, and I love that promo. I love the foiling on that.
Now, chat was asking earlier about is there ways to put health back on your base?
Right.
And the answer is yes. Yoda, of course, I'll pull his card up again briefly, but he is one of those options. He has the restore keyword on him. That is what allows you to regenerate health on your base when he attacks. Doesn't matter if he attacks a base or a unit. If he attacks, you can heal your base for 2 damage. Speaking of bays.
Bays was a card that through all my different playtesting and different iterations of the deck, he went in and out, in and out, in and out of the deck. I think it's a meta call. I think we're seeing a bunch of aggro decks in the meta. I think he's way better. He's also a card to easily sideboard out in certain matchups. I never really fell in love with him the way I did other cards in the deck. He just he doesn't synergize. He's not heroism, so he can't be targeted by certain things, and he's not a rebel, so he can't be targeted by certain things. A-Wing swinging in.
A-Wing comes in, and just like that, it's a tie game.
Yeah.
James with that 30 health on his base, starting with a little advantage. Anthony playing aggro, able to kind of wipe that out here because, well, that's what aggro does. Seventh Sister has the potential to be a real problem unit here for Anthony because her Saboteur keyword means that she can ignore Sentinel and Shields. So Baze is Sentinel. Actually, Baze does not have Sentinel because he doesn't have the initiative.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. He doesn't have Sentinel anyway because he requires the initiative.
But you can still potentially knock him off if you wanted.
Right.
Raider's going to come in, one of my favorite cards. Ruthless Raider comes in to deal 2 damage to... Piet is on the board, so he's actually going to come in with Ambush.
Very nice.
He's going to ambush the A-Wing. He's going to deal 2 damage to Anthony's base and 2 damage to Yoda.
That makes sense.
Okay.
A lot of value.
Ton of value out of that card. One of my favorites. We've seen Piet be fairly impactful today.
Yeah, we have seen Piet
It's
be
interesting.
impactful today.
It's not a card I would have thought I was gonna see a lot of, but here we
Right.
are. Oh, I have it backwards. You're right. I do it backwards. Chad is correcting my names. Thank you.
Oops.
That's all right. It's an easy fix.
There you go.
There we go. One more time. Ah, you're one of your favorite cards. The Force is with me.
One of my favorite cards.
The Force is with me on base.
And that's what I loved about going back to Chirrut, because that was a card that I had cut out of a lot of my Luke variations, because it's kind of expensive.
But it's so impactful.
It's so impactful.
It's so huge when you get it to land. I mean, that one and It Binds All Things
Correct.
are just key cards in this deck,
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Absolutely. It binds all thing. I only played 2 copies of it, and that's one that I found myself sideboarding out a lot.
Interesting.
Too. It depends on the matchup on whether or not it comes up, and I think at the time when I was playing a lot of Chirrut, there was a lot more control, so they weren't really damaging my units.
Okay.
They were just hard removing them. That's a big base, though.
That is a very large base. He starts at 4/7 with grit, and he's got 2 damage on him, so he's a 6/5 right now. Why is he exhausted?
I think he swung already.
Oh, wait a minute. Did he murder somebody?
We might have missed something when we were chit-chatting there.
There was somebody out there with, I don't know.
Or maybe he swung at the base before he took the...
No, there's not enough damage on that base.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yoda's going to come in and clean up James's base again.
Love Yoda.
Yoda is just the little, what is he, 3 cost? He's the little 3 cost Muppet that keeps on giving.
He really does. He has a tremendous amount of value. Also, just being one of the probably the best cheap Force unit. And I think that's why James maybe opted to play Yoda instead of the Fleet Lieutenant at the beginning of turn 2.
Anthony's chomping at the bit to get his Vader onto the board. He's just like, let's go. Yeah. Let's friggin' go.
Yeah, why not? It's Vader.
And there it is.
You got to get excited about that.
Oh, I mean, the Dark Lord of the Sith, how can you not get excited? It's okay.
Looks like James just hasn't readied his...
He hasn't readied his units. I think he's still making a resourcing decision over there, but...
Right.
Or has he? No, he's got 6. He's got 6. He's already made it. Yeah, he's good.
So that's interesting. He's opted to not deploy Chirrut last round. And I think I kind of get that, because he's maybe looking for... I think he didn't have anything in his hand that would have saved him.
Well, Villain Red is, I feel like, a bit of a slightly tougher matchup for Chirrut because of Force Lightning.
Force Lightning. What else can just hard remove him? Well, I guess that's
Force Lightning isn't really so much the hard remove, but the ability to wipe out his game text for the round.
Right.
That's what really hurts Chirrut, right? Jedi lightsaber on bays. That is a very, very big bays, ladies and gentlemen.
And I like this is something that I had to learn a lot of learning Chirrut, is to not get the tunnel vision of, I'm going to deploy Chirrut and Chirrut's going to be my big Voltron thing.
Yeah.
Other units can become your big Voltron
100%.
thing, really easily. And I think that's really smart play on James to not get that tunnel vision. And
if we're not careful, we're about to watch Baze Malbus crush the Dark Lord of the Sith. No, I've got that button incorrect, but
some kind of rules question going on there. Our TO Jason there.
Yeah.
Not sure what the question is.
That is ground, but it's reversed. Okay, I'll have to work with that in between rounds to fix that. My zoom function, not quite correct. Gentlemen in the Boba Fett shirt you see there in the bottom left of your screen is our TO for the day, Mr. James.
Jason,
thank you. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm awful.
Not sure what the question is.
It's a card that Anthony has in his hand. Whatever.
Oh, okay. So
he's asking about a card he has in his hand.
Gotcha. What is it? I wonder.
James just played the lightsaber, so I think Anthony was considering his next move and had a
Right.
question about a card.
Okay, Force
So
Lightning.
he's asking about this. He's playing the Force Lightning to just zap Baze out of existence.
Actually, that makes sense.
Force Lightning, of course, having a slightly variable cost. You can pay more to deal more damage, and James just, I mean, Anthony coming in and paying 5 just to get rid of Baze and be done with him.
That's a card I'm excited for going into set 2.
Force Lightning.
Yes. I
Why
think
4?
it just it doesn't see a lot of play because there's just not a ton of decks that that are playing red villain at the moment.
Dark Lord of the Sith does 5 to the base and 2 to Yoda with his game text.
And just like that, James's board is clear. Anthony's tapped out on. Oh no, he's got 2 resources left.
I'm showing 21 for Anthony. I thought Yoda had attacked, but I don't see that damage on the board.
No, I don't think Yoda attacked.
Is that an open fire? What is he playing there?
Yeah, he's playing open
playing
fire.
an open fire.
And he's
getting rid of Piet, I think.
To kill Piet. And then the Raider will swing in.
Raider comes in for
James, 4. Tarkentown. James opting to take initiative. Again, doesn't really have anything to buff up Chirrut, so electing not to bring him out.
I feel like I've got the damage wrong on Anthony's base, but I can't quite figure out why it should be at least 7, and I'm showing I've got it marked incorrectly, and I'm not quite sure what his actual health total is out there right now. I think there's a single stacked under that other one, so I think he's at 23.
Possible.
I'll go out between games and ask him not to do that.
Right. It's the little things.
It's the little things. James on the back foot here, got to figure out how to dig himself out of this hole. He's sitting on a Kanan and a Sabine in his hand, and it looks like he resourced Kanan.
He resourced Kanan.
Why would you resource Kanan?
Yeah, when you got nothing on the board.
I guess just because the Vader just gonna
So gonna go ahead and use Tarkentown to.
It's gonna put 3 more damage on the Raider.
That way, it's a vigilance target. He needs it to be under 3 HP. 3 HP to target it.
Anthony clearly smells that something coming there. Going to go ahead and swing into the base for 4. Don't feel like James got that damage token quite right, but it's okay. Sabine coming in. A little surprised to see that.
Yeah, I think James, I was I was praising the play to like not get tunnel vision and want to upgrade Chirrut, but I think maybe that was a little too greedy, trying to get that huge base that was already buffed, already had damage.
What just happened? He played a takedown out of his own.
He played force throw.
Oh, we got a force throw coming in from Vader.
And now we see Chirrut coming out.
He's kind of running out of options. He's got to get something on the board.
So we're going to see Overwhelming Barrage.
Looks like it.
To just
pop
up,
him.
What is that? 7 damage that he's going to
7. Yeah, now technically he still doesn't die.
Right.
Yet.
So that's 7 damage onto Chirrut. Vader going to get buffed up for the phase.
Vader is huge right now. 7-9 at the moment.
Just 3 damage coming into Vader. Yeah, that makes sense.
7 to the base. Let's see if they get the totals correct here. I need to go tell them around them those are double-sided. There's 10s on the back, and they're all stacked now. Okay. I'm not convinced that I have the base, the health correct on James's base.
I don't think it's gonna matter. Just he's in a.
He's sitting on the initiative token. He did just draw into
He
redemption.
did draw into redemption. That's big.
So it might buy him some time.
But with that Raider still out there, that's something that can.
He's also sitting on a vigilance. So he's literally now he's got. I didn't see what he resourced, but he had a vigilance in his hand.
Didn't get enough damage onto Vader to target Vader with vigilance.
I gotta get him to not stack these things.
Yeah. That's just one of those like little things that we'll have to ask them when they sit
it's
on
okay.
Oh, I think he's telling them.
Hey, there we go. There's 10s on the back. There you go, boys.
Oh, no, he thinks it's just a 10. That one is special in a 10.
Okay, so he's at 18. It looks like we've settled at 18 damage, so I'm a little off then. I need to go up to here. There we go.
James trying to decide what he's going to do with his initiative here. I think Redemption's the better play for like a full heal. But it looks like he's going for Vigilance.
He's going to go for the Vigilance. It's going to allow him to heal 5 off his base.
And go ahead and take out the Raider.
And clear the Raider off the board, which causes him to take 2 more damage.
Right.
So
net heal of 3. And then we see Relentless come down for Anthony.
I cannot tell you how happy I am to see people like playing that card, because I feel like it's a card that is so continually overlooked. Vader swings in, but I just don't see how James gets out of this now.
Yeah, I don't. As the
Relentless alone seals this deal. He doesn't. Yeah. I mean, he can't cover both arenas at once.
He can't. He could full heal on the Redemption for 8, but that's still like.
I mean, it buys him time, but again, it just
at the most, yeah.
Relentless swings in and crushes it. I mean, I think he has to do it if he wants to stay in the game. It looks like that's the play.
Yeah,
it is the play. Redemption comes in and allows him to move up to 8 damage from his base onto the unit itself. So that's what's going to happen here. So it's not strictly healing, but it functions like healing for the purposes of getting damage off of his base. Vader's going to swing in for 5 and murder and go ahead and clean it up.
And they're just going to
and then Redemption seals the deal. So
right.
All right, so that's game 1 going to Anthony's Vader here.
Yeah, I think maybe that that level of greed of like, I already have this buffed up base. He's taking damage, so he has the grit effect going off, and then playing the lightsaber. When Anthony has full resources and can respond to it, has an opportunity to respond for it, I think maybe just a little too greedy of a play.
He could have. It felt like he brought Chirrut out too late.
He did bring Chirrut out really late, and I think maybe that's like the mentality of, I have to have something in my hand to save him, because he's
a target.
He is a target, and I think that was James's kind of idea of why waited so long to bring him out, because he didn't at those times he did not have anything in his hand to save him. But I think that's against the. Did Anthony get to ramp? Yes, he did. He had
one or two super laser techs in
there. And that's enough to kind of.
That's all you need with Vader.
Right.
1 or 2 is enough to catch you up to where the other leaders already are, more or less, right? Vader's not as slow as Palpatine, but he's a little on the slow end of the curve.
Right.
So yeah, I will say I feel like the round to bring Chirrut out was the round. He had Baze on the board, he had Yoda on the board. I felt like that's the turn you want to put Chirrut out there.
Right.
And give Anthony something else he's got to at least pay attention to.
Yeah,
right.
And even if they do have something to deal with Chirrut, you still got Baze
and Yoda, and that is not insignificant, right? That's not chump change.
No, it's not. You're still retaining, regardless of which one they remove. You're still retaining a force unit on the board,
exactly,
and that's kind of the key to the deck with so many cards that synergize with that. The force is with me. It binds all things, and force throw.
Yep.
You want to have something on the board to
I'm going to go catch them real quick and remind them about the tokens.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And then I'll be right back.
much quicker game. Game 1 than last round. Still have 36 minutes after game 1 there.
Okay.
Perfect. I was just commenting on a much quicker game 1 than last round. with still than 35 minutes still on the clock.
Yeah, for sure. Plenty of time here for James to get it, to still win this match.
Right.
But he's definitely got a big uphill battle here. I'm glad to see more people experimenting with Vader. It feels like when the game first hit that he was not really much of a thing.
And neither of the starter deck leaders, they were kind of overlooked a little bit. Just other leaders with more attractive abilities kind of gained the spotlight. But I think they're both solid picks. I think I was talking about it earlier too when you had stepped out before the match started. Myself not being a fan of Luke Green.
Yeah,
but
because now I know you played a lot of Luke back in the day.
Luke Red.
Oh, I guess I should reset. We're going on to the next game, and I haven't even bothered to reset life totals yet. I am failing at my job over here. Cast or fail, ladies and gentlemen.
So already at the top of turn 2, we see Super Laser Technician come out for Anthony. And again, James with that turn 2 Yoda, which is just really strong.
Super strong.
He's got a big butt. He's got 4 health.
4 health on a 3-cost unit is not anything to sneeze at.
No, not at all.
Vader having an empty turn 1 feels a little rough.
Let's
move the initiative token where it belongs. There we go. So James off on a much better start here compared to his opponent. Open fire, vanquish.
K2 and a Kanan.
K2 and a Kanan.
That's a good hand.
If you're James, I mean, between Kanan and K2, man, that's a tough call.
I like Kanan just because, again, that's if they remove either Kanan or Yoda, you're still left with a Force unit on the board, which gives you tempo into the Chirrut turn. But I could see, maybe wanting to race a little bit more damage and playing K2SO.
Put a little more pressure on Vader before he becomes a thing. This is where I really am looking forward to having my shotgun mics set up for table sound. But unfortunately for this iteration of the setup, I was not able to get everything I wanted working. So
yeah, I think I know what they're talking about. I think there's a little bit of confusion on whether or not Sabine is targetable. At the moment, she is targetable.
Because
I think there was a little bit of confusion.
Correct,
she is. They got it right.
Yes.
Yep. There would need to be another
red unit.
Another red unit on the board.
Yeah.
See, and so the other thing about putting Kanan down is that you also have Sabine on the board. So that's 2 Spectre units. That's 2 cards.
That's a good point.
Kanan's ability.
Open fire coming in and getting rid of the little Muppet.
Makes sense.
Sabine's going to swing in again for 3.
3 more damage in on Echo Base.
She is such a great unit for only 2 costs.
Oh, yeah. Between her and the A-Wing, like your turn 1
Hero Red is so strong in the early game.
Your turn 1 plays are just really strong.
Wolfie Larn, we saw a little bit out of him in the previous match from Trey. Nope. Oh, sorry. I was like, Kanan just came into play. He's
tapped.
He's not doing anything this round.
It's interesting. He drew another Kanan, and he elected to
hold on to it.
Yeah, to hold on to it and to resource a open fire. You know what? Actually, because he has other removal options in his hand, I think I like that. I think that makes sense.
No, I think I like that.
So we do see
K2 and the Raider.
Very nice. Raider gonna go ahead and finish off Sabine, because Sabine is at that point untargetable, but untargetable from being a defender in
little surprising to see James choose to. Well, I guess he figured with K2 down, Sabine was protected.
Right.
And strictly
yeah,
speaking,
kind of what I
that
was getting
correct.
at. She was untargetable from combat, not from
Yeah.
effects.
I'm a point off. There we go.
Kanan swinging. Looked like, what was that? The Royal Guard that got milled.
I didn't see actually.
I think that's what I saw.
The decks are his deck is kind of off to the side there, so it's difficult to see.
And then we're going to see Chirrut
and
deploy.
then Chirrut coming in.
Nothing in his hand to buff Chirrut, but his Anthony's tapped out.
I was going to say, when you look at the board state, I actually think that's a really good play.
And he's going to elect to take out Yularen, which, you know what? I like that.
I do too.
Stopping the healing.
Don't give Anthony the opportunity to bring back, get more health out of it. Probably hoping to draw into something there to start buffing Chirrut out a little bit.
Looks like he got a Sabine.
He's going to resource that second Kanan this time.
Yeah, he drew a Luke.
He drew a Luke and a Sabine.
And if you can play Luke on curve in this deck, your life feels good.
Well, certainly that restore. Luke currently the only restore 3 unit in the game.
Right.
We already know there's at least one more coming in the next set.
Vader come out.
Yep, there's the Dark Lord. Every time I say that, I think I'm talking about Harry Potter. You must not mention his name.
Vader's way cooler.
Vader is way cooler. He's also way older.
True.
James having to think through what his next play is here. Either straight to base.
Swing with Kanan.
Kanan coming in.
Get the most value. Because if you lose the
4 to base.
And then
going to mill 1.
Yeah, there we go.
See what we get. Can't really tell. It's off camera, but he got to heal whatever it was.
And then we're going to see Force Lightning. Take out K2.
I love this play.
I like that play too.
I love using Force Lightning on K2 because it wipes out his little extra damage shenanigans that he gets to do. Chirrut also going to swing into the base, it looks like.
Yes.
Little over halfway to victory here for James in game 2. Looking really solid. His base is still clean.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when Yoda gets to stick.
Yoda didn't stick.
Oh,
Yoda died to an open fire.
Kanan's been
around a few turns.
I think Yoda did heal once. No, maybe you're right. Maybe Yoda didn't heal at all.
I'm not sure he got a lot of value out of Yoda, other than Yoda being. He might have gotten one round. I think maybe. I think this game, Anthony seems to have drawn a little slower this game. But the Rebel Red definitely making a big impact here in James's ability to put pressure.
James at? James is at 6.
6 what?
Resources?
They should be 6 6 for James and 7 for Anthony.
Gotcha. Okay. So Luke can't come out quite yet.
Okay. So Vader's going to take out Chirrut and put damage on Kanan with his ability. It doesn't, strictly speaking, kill Chirrut.
Correct.
The way Chirrut's game text works, of course, he doesn't actually die until the very end of the turn. So if James has some way to heal him or move that damage somewhere else, Chirrut might be able to stay in play.
Right.
It's going to come in with a takedown to clean up Vader.
5 or less HP.
Mm-hmm. That is a big play. Getting Vader off the board and still having units behind left on the board is...
The 5th brother is going to come down. It's a card I don't see a lot of, but...
5th brother and Sabine coming back. Not sure why he just showed him there and ditched. It was a force. He must have played I see. Yeah, he played another force throw. It looks like.
I see it. So go ahead and he's going to go ahead and take out Kanan with the force throw.
Yep. So we had another force throw sneak in from the left hand side there. Showed him the takedown, ditched it, applied the damage to Kanan.
Vanquish.
And then it was a vanquish. Yeah. And then he swung in with the Raider.
Makes sense. Not as threatening of a board now.
No.
Anthony going into the next turn with a bigger board.
You still got to feel really good that you got Vader off the table.
Oh, yeah,
though.
absolutely.
I mean, you've still got a significant health advantage here.
Right.
You're up 7 HP, and you got rid of your opponent's leader, which is an incredibly strong unit.
3 more into the base from Sabine. There's Vader.
The recursion of the Dark Lord, it would seem. One of the strengths of this particular variant of the deck, of course, you can play Vader in his green unit to go along with his red leader. And then, depending on if you play the Saber or not, and I haven't looked at Anthony's deck list to know, I'm going to opt for a Veers to come out with Vader's ability.
Interesting.
Anthony definitely turned this board around in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
But now, are we going to see the Vigilance or the Luke? We're going to see the Luke.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead and respond to Vader.
That should clean up Vader.
Absolutely.
Luke takes down his daddy. No immediate healing there for James, but the Restore 3 on the Luke having a potential impact if you can keep him on the board.
Anthony electing to Vader ping.
Okay, so 1 to base and 1 to Luke. 4 more from the Raider. Is James just passing?
No,
he hasn't taken initiative yet.
He did the Chirrut buff, but I'm not sure why.
Yes. Okay. Probably. Well, sometimes you do that just to stall.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a stall play, but I don't know. Like, there's nothing to be worried about. I don't see why. Anthony does have too much damage left on the board to claim early, but
I mean, when you're behind, well, I would say when you're behind, he's still a little behind, but the gap is narrowed. He doesn't. He pretty much can't afford to claim early.
Actually, would Fifth Brother be able to take out
Luke?
So maybe that buff was significant.
Fifth Brother is a 3/5 right now because of ears.
Right.
He can only ping himself for 1 damage. So
and that just
gives him raid 1, so he becomes a 4/4 for the attack. He can smash in for 4. But he can also do the direct damage with his ability and then attack the base.
Right.
But that still turns Fifth Brother to pace, but Luke is still on the board.
Okay. I guess
which is what happens.
Yeah. So I guess the significance of that is that maybe he miscalculated and he thought that was going to take Luke out.
It was a little closer than he wanted than he thought it, probably because of the weight, because Veers.
Right.
Because Veers is around.
So James taking the initiative there.
Now, up health, that's a good place for him to be. He needs to draw into something that's going to let him finish the deal here. All right, onward. James sitting on a redemption, and I can't quite make out the other card. I think it's another vigilance.
It
is.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, so a lot of potential healing in his hand.
Definitely going to swing with Luke right off the top. Yep. It's just a 9 damage swing, essentially, with the 6 damage and 3 heal.
3 heal. Yeah, it's a huge swing in the board.
Yeah.
So 6 more damage onto Anthony's base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a 3 heal back for James.
James still has Tarkentown. It doesn't currently do anything with the current board state, but he does have that
another Raider
toolbox to take out Luke.
Yep. Raider comes in to clean Luke up and put 2 more damage back on his base.
Man, that's such an annoying unit to try to deal with.
I love that card. It's so good. Now he hasn't taken the damage on his base with tokens, but I'm going to go ahead and mark it down here.
Maybe he meant to. I don't know. They'll figure it out.
He's going to go ahead and play. He's going to go ahead and bring in Redemption. That'll allow him to move what should be all but
he's probably
one.
electing to not heal.
He's not. Oh, because Redemption is a Sentinel.
Right. So it'll just block those.
It just blocks
raiders.
those raiders for a while because he's going to absolutely do it.
Oh, maybe he is healing a bit.
Vader's going to ping him.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. And then he'll put another 4 in.
I'm going to match what's on the screen with what
James
is showing, but I feel like he missed some damage in there somewhere.
I think he did.
Oh, Veers is alive. Those raiders don't have one more health.
Correct.
All right. So where should we be? 11 down. We should be at 24. No, I mean 14. There we go. What are we doing here? We just scooping?
I think so.
Because I think James retained the initiative there. Right. So going into the next round.
Going into game 3.
Yep. Looks like we're going on to game 3. Tied up here.
Much different game than game 1.
Well, and again, I chalk it up personally to Anthony seemed like he drew a little slower that game in terms of units, and James had a much better kind of opening hand,
better tempo, more stuff.
You know, one of the things that makes Hero Red so challenging to play against, right? They have, just like you were talking about, Sabine, the A-Wing, the Wing Leader, R2. There are so many K2. There are so many amazing early game units in Hero Red that they can put such tremendous pressure on you in the first 2 to 3 rounds of the game.
For sure.
Like you can suddenly you look up and you've been playing for 5 minutes and you're down, you're halfway dead already.
Right.
And you barely lifted a finger. Oh, James keeps James on the button right now. Apologies, coming in with Sabine like we've been.
It looked like Anthony just
grabbed the initiative. Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony opting to keep whatever was in his hand that he liked, but not anything that allowed him to put down stuff on turn 1.
I imagine we're going to see some sort of ramp card.
Going to be a super laser or a resupply? I think you have to do the technician. Oh, a cell block guard. All right then.
That's a solid option into this pseudo aggro
deck.
It
at least forces James to trade if he wants to.
I imagine he's thinking about it, and he's going to do it. Yeah, he's going to play the lightsaber, so that way Sabine lives. He's going to be able to take out that cell block guard, and Sabine will just take the 3 damage.
This is expressly what I'm hoping we're going to see more of as we go ahead in the game.
Mandalorian upgrades.
Well, just upgrades in general, right? You talked about it earlier, right?
Upgrades as a way of removal and
and getting more value out of your units rather than simply just trading them.
Right.
Fifth brother coming in.
You know what? I think the crutch of the upgrade archetype will be is how good they make the Darksaber, because we know it's coming.
It has to be in this set. No, it has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
There's at least 2 or 3 different units that are already depicted as wielding it in the artwork.
Yeah,
like Gideon, I think he's got artwork where he's wielding. The Gar Saxon card he's got it in his hand. Like it has to be here.
Yeah. And
Sabine swings in for 5 big ones.
We do not have a legendary upgrade, so I imagine that will be our first legendary upgrade in the game, which will be fun.
The question that I have, and of course we'll find out at some point in the not too distant future, is will the Darksaber have a color aspect, or will it be a strictly neutral card?
That'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
If memory serves, in Destiny, it was a rogue card. It was a yellow card.
Yes, it was yellow.
I'll be curious to see where they place it in this particular game. Super Laser Tech, a little bit of ramp coming in for Anthony here.
And we're just going to see
Sabine just going to keep smashing her face for six.
And see, like in certain
like,
matchups,
that is so
yeah,
strong.
in certain, not only was it a good play to get rid of the cell block guard, but also just
keeps her on the board.
Keeps her on the board, and then in a matchup like this, in a non-blue matchup, it's very difficult for them to now deal with a 6 health unit.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you point out the non-blue matchup. I think that's I think that's a key point. As Vader's going to strangle his own super laser tech to death. Nope, I pushed the wrong button there. Vader did not deploy, but Vader able to ping his own unit for 1 damage with his game text. There we go. But, you know, the prevalence of blue control in the overall meta of the game right now really also makes upgrades feel terrible.
Right. This is a huge board state and a very good opening for James in this
Chirrut comes out.
Chirrut comes out, puts another 3 damage in. Didn't have an upgrade for him. Doesn't really matter. Also getting K2SO on the board in the same turn. That's a nasty board.
I don't know.
A lot of threats. A lot of.
I have no idea how Anthony's going to get out of this mess.
Yeah, that's a lot to deal with.
That lightsaber on Sabine, the decisive play in this match so far. He's going to bring out Vader.
And I just don't think it really matters. I think like if that's
I don't think it does either.
If that's his opening play for this phase,
he's going to have to basically try to trade his leader to stabilize things. Right. But I mean, there's 6 more damage.
6 more damage. He's going to take out K2 with Vader, but that's still another 3 damage that's going to go onto the base.
James just dominating game 3 so far. Behind the power of Hero Red.
And just a +3/+3. So there's the we're seeing Force Lightning take out K2.
Ooh, I love that. You almost in this matchup, you almost feel like you have to hold that card for K2, because otherwise it just an already strong unit feels worse.
That's a fun card. In James' hand right now, he's got a Force Surrender. I believe that's what that is, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
And that's an I imagine that's in his sideboard. That's a sideboard card for me. That's an interesting card to sideboard into Vader.
Now, Vader's probably going to thump Chirrut in the face,
right,
and then send his 2 to Sabine. That'll clean both of them up.
Correct.
So Chirrut technically having lethal damage, but he remains in play because of his game text.
Which I don't think James has anything in his hand to save Chirrut, but I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters. He's got such a commanding lead right now.
Yeah. Anthony's stabilizing a little bit, though. At least in terms of how many things he has on.
Vader's strong enough, it gives him that opportunity. Right? But he's going to end up basically having to sacrifice his leader to try to stabilize the board. And he's going to force throw the Force Surrender.
For 6 damage into Vader.
He's going to force throw his own card to deal 6 direct damage to Vader.
And that looks like that's actually caught Anthony off guard here. Maybe not realizing.
He's probably never seen it. He's probably never seen it done. But it's totally legal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You can absolutely force throw cards out of your own hand.
Yep.
You don't see it a lot.
You don't. And I think
it is an option.
Chirrut is the deck that does it the most, because you have big cards like, and maybe that was the James's idea of sideboarding in the Force Surrender. It's a 6 cost card to deal 6 damage to something.
Yeah, a big chunk you can throw.
Correct. Chirrut going to swing in for 3 damage.
Seasoned Shore Trooper. Chirrut's going to get his base damage in before he goes away. Only 5 HP left for Anthony.
Not looking good.
After game 1, I thought Anthony was in a really good spot. But man, James has come back with a vengeance. I think
James just maybe learned a lot. Maybe hasn't played into the Vader ramp matchup a lot. James just being one off there with Kanan.
Chad is talking about how quickly game 3 is going, and I'm and we were talking about that with Hero Red. This can absolutely happen.
Right?
Sometimes it's like getting hit by it. It's like getting hit in the face with a steamroller.
Reinforcement Walker for some healing.
He's got.
Doesn't even look at the card.
He basically he has to.
Yeah, he has to.
He just has to go for it. Reinforcement walker
and then
a little bit of healing.
Kanan's gonna put 4 damage back on.
Up and down again.
Yeah.
Fusion Troopers are 4/3. You're going to put 4 damage on James's base, it looks like. He had healed 1 back from Kanan a moment ago. There's the Forced Surrender.
There's another one. So James will get to draw 2 cards. Anthony has to discard 2 cards. His choice, not random.
Nope, not random, but it does hurt this late in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Having your options taken away from you.
He's going into the next turn with 1 card in hand. So only 3 cards in hand here at the top of this turn. Choosing a resource one.
Well, he drew into a Devastator, but I don't think he's going to get the chance to play it.
I don't think so either.
He's only on 9 resources, and he's got 4 HP. Mm-hmm. So basically his first action has to be step on Kanan.
Right. He has to swing with the Reinforcement Walker.
He has to step on Kanan and just take the discard and heal.
Right.
Just to get him out of lethal range, basically. James still considering what to resource. Opting for a Sabine.
That makes sense.
There's the Walker. He's just going to discard whatever it is. He can't afford to not. I'm betting. I haven't seen him do it yet, but
he's putting the damage.
He's putting the damage on the Walker.
And then discard a 5th brother.
He's back up to 7. He's also he's sitting on a Relentless and a Devastator.
Ooh. He could stabilize here.
The Relentless is probably not as impactful a card.
No, but it's a big thing.
It is a big thing
to swing quickly combined with other big things.
Right. I mean, the Devastator at least is also a Sentinel. So basically it's going to just sit in the high orbitals and there's nothing coming through that quickly. Takedown. Vanquish.
Yeah, because it was not... How much health does Reinforcement Walker have?
He starts with 9, but Vanquish doesn't care.
Well, no, but I'm saying it wasn't in Tarkin Town range.
It was not in Tarkin Town range. He hasn't used Tarkin Town yet.
No.
Still has that available if he needs it.
We saw...
Fleet Lieutenant. Feels bad when you don't get to do anything with him, but got to get something on the board. Going to trade out with him.
Yeah, makes sense. And the Relentless came
down. He does
down
put Relentless down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had 9, so it makes sense. Get something on the board that'll be a threat.
Goes up to 10, and you said you also saw the Devastator in his hand.
He has it, unless he resourced it. I wasn't checking that time, but he had a Devastator in his hand a moment ago.
Imagine he doesn't.
Looks like he's got a Devastator and a Vader now. Now he's sitting on the initiative, and with a clean board, I think you have to. I think you just swing in here with Relentless.
Take the damage. Yeah, you're not worried about any out of hand damage or anything.
They didn't move the token, but apparently James has initiative.
Oh, okay. And then
Devastator's just going to wipe it out.
Wipe it out.
Wow.
And then Relentless will get to swing in.
Saw Redemption come in.
Devastator.
There's Devastator, crushing it under its boot heel. And then Relentless swings in for, 8 damage. Two Star Destroyers now staring James in the face, a game that Anthony was on the brink of losing 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and he has lethal on the board.
Yeah, I mean, if James has drawn into another Redemption.
I see that.
But I don't know that. I don't think that one's going to be enough.
Devastator has Overwhelm as well?
It does have Overwhelm.
Okay.
Sentinel
so even
if he
does heal, there's not really a point.
Not particularly. No, I don't think so. Kanan.
And then he'll just put 10 in with Devastator.
And just here, I'll just drop a casual 10 on your face.
Swing for 10. I honestly don't know if I've ever swung with Devastator. I think every time
most of the time you don't get the opportunity to.
I've definitely swung for more than 10 with
all right,
Chirrut.
We're going to force throw. He's going to force throw
the redemption
to kill. But I don't. I guess what had just happened.
I think he.
Did he scoop?
Yeah, I think James just scoops.
Oh man!
Even though he does that, it's not enough.
I mean, it makes him feel good, but I think in the end,
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. I think
Right.
Anthony does manage to scrape that
Yeah,
game out.
then at that point he claims and Devastator. That's all
Wow.
he needs.
Wow.
What a game. What
Woo!
a comeback.
That was a wild comeback.
I mean, you get 2 big capital ships out, you know.
It's one of the things that I actually really enjoy about this game is Relentless, where he can't force throw.
Oh yeah, he can't even do
can't.
it.
Yep, chat's catching us because I'm bad at this. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's definitely one of the things that
I mean,
love about this
even
game.
if he can do it, I don't think
it would have mattered.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. But it's one of the things that I love about this game is that you sometimes you see comebacks like that, and it is usually a little freaky.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done it. I've had it done to me.
Yep.
So